this thing is bad, and I'm not gonna waste your time pretending otherwise. You already know what this weapon does. Nothing. It does absolutely nothing. The gas pulse's impact on a match is about the same as a wet fart, and I promise that is the only fart joke in this video. But hey, you clicked on this video, let's talk about the specifics. I go over what makes it so bad, and then I use 5 of my brain cells to find out some random niche use case and pretend it's the coolest thing on earth. So what makes it so bad? Well, it's a throwable weapon which takes 60 seconds or 750 damage to fully charge, and when it's thrown it creates a gas cloud for 5 seconds. Anybody who steps into it will then become gassy, or upon taking any sort of damage they will be set on fire for the full 10-second duration of afterburn, dealing 80 damage over time, or 20 if the source of the damage was a degreaser. And that's it. Let me just tell you this now, if you want area of effect afterburn, I have 2 weapons which may interest you, and these don't cost the same as a stolen kidney in order to use. But admittedly, that is a slight exaggeration which everyone makes, as I said 60 seconds or 750 damage, but these aren't independent timers, they count towards the same one, or in other words, every 12 damage you deal will take 1 second off the gas passer timer. So if you are good at using the flamethrower and are consistently dishing out damage, it will only take about 20-30 seconds just like any other throwable to charge. But while it does start empty, in game modes such as Payload, you can have the gas ready by the end of the setup period, so you can use it right out of spawn. The gas will also keep any progress it has between lives, so sure, if you are actually good at the game, the gas doesn't take that long to charge up compared to any other throwable, but once it's ready, it is still the gas passer, and it's still terrible. But is there really nothing at all going for this effect? Well, there is actually. See, unlike most throwables, the gas passer isn't just a one and done effect. The gas will actually linger on the ground for 5 seconds after being thrown. This effectively allows the pyro to seal choke points, almost like placing a temporary wall, and if enemies will try and break through the wall, they will become gassy, and that is pretty incredible by forcing an immediate decision onto your enemies, push through and risk taking damage, or back off and wait it out. For example, in this clip here, we're escaping with the intel and I throw the gas down this corridor and it completely covers the choke. We're able to get out clean without anyone following us, and if I switch game audio on, you can actually hear that there are people on fire. They walked through the gas, took damage, and they got stuck with 10 seconds of afterburn, which forced them to retreat. And sure, my enemies could have just not ran into the gas and wait 5 seconds for it to go away, but that would still achieve the same thing, preventing them from chasing us for 5 whole seconds. But that's just the thing. Because this weapon is such a joke, people will just walk into the cloud without any care, and it can lead to some really unexpected deaths, since once they walk into the gas, the effect will linger on them for 10 seconds. I killed a scout here. I never saw a scout. All these use cases are neat, but they heavily rely on your teammates, which is never a good thing because this is TF2, and using the gas passer for yourself isn't really that great, since, get this, you have a flamethrower. Or you could have a flare gun instead of the gas passer. But without any way to follow up on your own gas, it is completely useless aside from the occasional scare factor. Tried combining it with different flamethrowers, but aside from the flog or the backburner's crits allowing you to charge the gas really quickly, none of them really combined well. You'd think the Dragon's Fury would work well because it could benefit from the increased afterburn duration, but because you still need to set them on fire with a basic attack after applying gas, it doesn't really matter. So is there really nothing for this item? Well, for a long time there wasn't, but as of summer 2024 there is. The Neon Annihilator. Enemies coated in gas are now considered wet, which allows you to pull out a huge 156 damage crit, which is nothing to scoff about. It lets you kill 5 of the 9 classes in just 1 hit, from scouts to medics and even Francis Drake. And then after this hit, they will be suffering from the afterburn, meaning that pyros and demos will only last a few seconds before succumbing to death, and soldiers will only last a little bit longer. Only heavies will live this, but that's because his lunchbox items works as a vaccine, giving him natural gas immunity. The damage from this combo will also work towards restoring the gas passer, taking 13 seconds off just from the initial melee hit. Using the Neon also allows you to be a pyro shark, but this is only applicable in certain areas of certain maps. So is that really it for the gas passer? It's only useful when used with a melee weapon, which itself is only useful with the gas passer. Or the land shark combo, as it is being known as, is really strong. As I mentioned before, people don't care about the gas blaster effect and will just walk into it, which allows you to get really easy melee crits on people. But is it really worth carrying around basically 2 dead slots for just 1 occasional instant kill combo? Not really, and this is not the Neon Annihilator. Here's a little neat thing about the gas blaster. Remember how it will apply the full duration of Afterburn to players? That is really important when it comes to one particular melee weapon. See, the extinguisher will deal a mini crit and increase damage to anyone who is on fire, and that increased damage is related to the duration of Afterburn. And when paired with the gas blaster, which gives the maximum 10-second duration of Afterburn, the extinguisher will deal 167 damage. Now you're probably wondering why I brought this up. Sure, it is slightly more damage than a Neon Annihilator, but it requires you to damage enemies beforehand and will extinguish them, which means you lose out on all of that Afterburn damage afterwards. But I want to show you this clip. Pretty nice Neon Annihilator combo, right? Wrong. This soldier took damage. The only reason I got a crit here is because they were also under the effect of Mad Milk too. If I were using the extinguisher, it would have killed him without needing the external milk. In this clip, I'm fighting a soldier, but my gas isn't charged. So once I close the gap, I awkwardly fight him using the neon instead. If I were using the extinguisher, I could have killed him right here. See, while in theory the neon is better than the extinguisher, it's actually a lot more risky, and it will deal less immediate damage. Since with the extinguisher combo a small burst from your flamethrower is required, it will allow you to one-shot pyros and demos with the melee unlike the neon, which will take a few seconds after. But the extinguisher will also grant a speed boost on melee kill, which lets you close the gap with chain kills like this, and is also actually useful without requiring the gas blaster, since it works on any enemies who are on fire. The gas just makes you deal even more damage in a shorter time frame. And this combo charges the gas blaster really quick, and since it does more damage than the neon combo, if you one-shot someone like a scout, you will get slightly more charge since you won't benefit from the afterburn. The way I see this is using the extinguisher as your true secondary weapon, and you can pull out the gas blaster to quickly take out high HP targets, whereas on light classes, you won't really need the gas blaster, since a simple puff and sting will work just fine. I will say is that there are definitely situations where the extra time to damage them myself might make me lose out on a kill when using the extinguisher, and using the Neon Annihilator for the faster damage may have been better. They are both fun, however, just serve slightly different purposes. I like to use the neon on more maps which have water on them already, so I can use it more often, and I like to use the extinguisher because, oh god, the speed boost is so fun. So if you used to play Pyro a lot and miss the old overpowered Puff and Sting, and you want to just have an instant delete melee in your back pocket, I've got a secondary and a couple melee combinations for you to try out. Is it the most effective thing in the world? Well, yeah, actually, this combo is really strong regardless of which melee you pick, and you do get the smaller niche benefits of running the gas blaster by itself I mentioned earlier. But this isn't a generalist loadout, and that's okay. Other secondaries carry more use cases, and other melees bring better utility, but you would be a fool for saying a guaranteed crit on your melee is bad. So why not try it out every so often? You might find it fun. And now I will spend the rest of this outro to include all of the scrapped fart jokes. Fart grenade. The minion's fart gun. Skibbity toilet. Silent and not deadly. Men's perfume brand. Thank you for watching.